My name is Deji and I'm a property investor, and in this video we're looking at HMOs, compliance, rules and regulations. But before we get into it, remember to like the video, subscribe, comment and also hit the notification button to get an alert of all my upcoming videos. Now, what is a HMO? Now, let's just assume you've got a 3-bedroom property which happens to have 2 reception rooms. You would normally rent it out as a single let to a family for, let's say, £1,000 to £1,100 between that. But when you now say you want to make it a HMO, you're going to rent it out on a room by room basis. So you rent the 3 rooms upstairs to 3 different individuals, and then the 2 reception rooms, you will turn 1 into bedroom 4 and you rent that to a 4th person. Now with a HMO, the rent is going to increase overall. So let's say bedroom 1 is 500, bedroom 2 is 500, and 3 and 4 is also 500. You've got a gross profit of £2,000. But with a HMO, of course, you're going to pay the bills. Now let's deduct the bills, the gas, electric, water, Wi-Fi and council tax, and let's just call it £500. You're now left with £1,500 per calendar month. Whereas if you had it as a single let, you're left with £1,000 per calendar month. Now, this is why some people prefer to use the HMO strategy rather than a single let. But do bear in mind, it's not just as simple as throwing people in the rooms. The property does need to become HMO compliant, but I'm going to talk about this further on in the video. Now, a normal residential dwelling comes under the use class of C3. So a normal family home comes under C3, but when you turn it into a HMO, like the example I gave before, you had a 3-bedroom property, you converted it into a 4-bedroom HMO, it now changes to the use class of C4, which covers HMOs up to 6 bedrooms. Now, if you want to convert your property or are buying a property that has 7 bedrooms or more, that is no longer C4. You would actually need to get planning permission to convert it into what's called sui generis, which is a whole different use class and requires planning before using it as a HMO. Do all HMOs require a license? Now let's start looking at a 4-bedroom HMO. Now, generally speaking, you don't need a license for a 4-bedroom HMO. However, you do need to be compliant and meet all HMO regulations. There are some local authorities which require a 4-bedroom to have a license, but generally you don't need a license for a 4-bedroom HMO. Now, anywhere there are 5 occupants or more, you will be required to have a HMO license. So if you've got a 5-bedroom HMO or a 6-bedroom HMO, you will need to apply for a HMO license. Now, there are some instances where you will need to apply for planning permission. Like I mentioned earlier, if you've got a property that you want to convert into a 7-bedroom HMO or more, you will need to go through planning to convert it into a use class of sui generis. Another instance where you would need to apply for planning permission is if you're in an area that has Article 4. Now, Article 4 is simply just a restriction on being able to convert a residential dwelling C3 into C4 without planning permission. Now, let's say you are in an area that has Article 4, but you've been running your property as a HMO prior to Article 4 coming in. As long as you can show that you've been renting it as a HMO for the required period of time, you will be able to get a HMO license without applying for planning permission. What makes a HMO compliant? I'm going to be looking at some of the things that are needed in your HMO to make it compliant and why they are needed. Now, the first thing is interlinked smoke alarms. Why do you need interlinked smoke alarms in your property? Now, let's imagine a fire breaks out in the living room and the property is an 8-bedroom HMO. All the bedrooms are supposed to have interlinked smoke alarms as well as the hallway. So if a fire breaks out, every individual in the rooms will be alerted, because remember, they are different occupants, they're of different households. So you're alerting all the occupants in the property that there's some sort of incident happening in the property. So now they've all been alerted because of the interlinked smoke alarms. Emergency lighting is also another requirement within a HMO. So again, let's say there's a fire and the fire cuts out all the electrics. The emergency lighting will kick in and illuminate the fire exits for the tenants to get out of the property safely. Last but not the least on this video, you need to have fire doors in your HMO property. Now, fire doors are another fire preventing method. So again, let's say a fire breaks out in a bedroom, a fire door should be able to contain a fire in a room for up to 30 minutes. Now, on a fire door, there are several things that need to be on that fire door. The first thing is a self-closing device. Now, this ensures that as soon as the door is open, the door closes automatically by itself. Again, trying to hold a fire in the property. Another thing that needs to be on a fire door are smoke seals. Now, this goes from the top of the door around and all the way around. What this does is prevents a fire or smoke spreading into another room of a property. So as soon as the smoke seal is in contact with heat, it expands and shuts out all the avenues for the smoke to get through to the other rooms. Now, this brings the video to an end. And if you have questions that you'd like me to answer in my upcoming videos, feel free to drop a comment below. And remember to like the video if you found it useful, and comment, subscribe, and also hit the notification button.